Hi friends, Sarah, the owner and maker of my Multifarious Nature. Thank you so much for joining me today. Hopefully you can see me all right, and it seems to be a little bit of a better view. This is taking me going back and forth. You are about as far back in this room as you can be. You're probably a good 5 feet away from me, so I appreciate everybody's feedback. I do not edit my videos, so I usually will watch the first couple seconds and then the last couple seconds to make sure that there's volume. But other than that, I don't watch them through. And I've had some excellent feedback just letting me know, hey, I can't see what you're showing us. So that's not good. So I really appreciate that. You are far away from me now. And my head, I believe, is totally in view now. I've gone back and forth a few times. So hopefully we'll be good. My timer going, keep me honest. I hope you guys are well. How are you doing? What are you working on? Love to hear about it. Let's see here. All right, my little timer going. Okay. Whew. First and foremost, I had something I wanted to talk about, but I don't think it's gonna get here. Well, it didn't get here in time to talk about it, but I'm really excited. I ordered my banner for Multifarious Nature for the Michigan Fiber Festival. I'm really, really excited. It's my first festival, an in-person festival, so really excited about it. And I did put in an order for a banner, and it's really fun. And I want to show you guys it, but unfortunately, I couldn't show you that today. So hopefully next video, I'll be able to show you. We have kind of a blizzard going on here in Michigan. We are on day 8. I think it's day 8 of snow, consistent snow. It's been snowing since last Thursday, the week prior. And I will say I am feeling better today than I was last week. So I just wanted to say thank you for all the positive feedback. I was having a really hard time, and that is just the way of it. But I'm having a pretty decent day today, so I wanted to just say that, and you probably hear it in my voice. I have a little more energy. It probably also helps that I'm sipping on some coffee. So I hope you have something cozy or cool to sip on, depending where you're at. I have my Hug in a mug. I have some, it's like a peppermint latte kind of coffee mix. It's pre-mixed for Keurig, and it's more sugar than I probably want to think about, but it's cozy, it's warm, and it's chocolate. So what's not to like? So I've got that to sip on. I will be upfront. I did not cast on my hat yet. I did not cast on that hat yet. I did cast on a different project for my husband to keep his head warm. So I'll show you guys that. We just, like I said, we've had really cold, really snowy weather. We are now reaching pretty irregular temperatures for Michigan. Michigan's pretty mild with our weather, but we're actually now getting into some very, very cold temperatures. Today, I think the high was 1 degree Fahrenheit, and the low is in the negatives. So we definitely have to keep an eye on our critters and make sure that they're well watered and fed to keep them warm and cozy and safe. So I'll talk a little bit more about that in the life update end of things. Hopefully I'll remember to. And because my brain sometimes. But we're going to talk about shop update. So that I was going to talk about the banner as part of the shop update, but that's not going to happen. But I have been working on the bats. I think I showed you guys a little bit about the bat last week. If I didn't, this is a little bit of a teaser, but I'm messing with some new blends. I'm really excited about it. And the one that I was working on last week is a North Country Cheviot, and it's beautiful. It's actually a brown white blend, and I took that fleece and beautiful crimp structure, and I blended it with a little bit of alpaca because I love myself an alpaca. And yeah, so I put some gray. It's a rose gray colorway alpaca, and it's Surrey alpaca, and I blended that with it. And this is what I got when I plied it. This is a 2-ply. Really nice. I think it turned out super nice, very fluffy, and actually more drape than I expected, which is interesting. I did not expect that. I did not expect so much drape out of it. So that was kind of an interesting experiment to see how that worked out. I think this would make a lovely sweater base. Definitely excellent for shawls as well. But yeah, I really liked how that turned out. So need to get cracking on getting some of those bats made up. As far as adding things to the shop online, we will see. But at the moment, I haven't been doing that. I'm focusing more on trying to build inventory for the Michigan Fiber Festival. And I hope you understand. But however, obviously, if you do have interest in anything, let me know. I'm happy to put it online. It does take some time to do that. But if someone's interested, I'd be happy to do that. I do want to make sure if there's something you want that you can get your hands on it. I do small batch wool processing. So like what you see is what you get. And I don't have a lot. So usually I can make, oh gosh, it just depends on the fleece, really, honestly, how many bats I can make. So this one I can probably make a significant dent in the amount of bats that I can do, but like 100-gram bats. But yeah, you never know. It just depends on the fleece. Some fleeces are much larger, like some of the down breeds are big fleeces. So that does kind of control it a little bit. Anyway, sorry, my nose is like, I'm just drippy today with the dust and everything. Oh, I am decked out in alpaca. Speaking of alpaca, this is my Alpenglow by Andrea Mowry of Dreary Knit. I used, I think it's a Roxy was the name of the blend, and it's from Old Stonegate. No, not Old Stonegate. That's wrong. Stonehenge Fiber Mill out of Michigan. And it's like one of those, they have like a farm blend that is just, they rotate, but that was one. And it's all alpaca. That's the main colorway. And then I use their crazy yarn to do the cuffs and the double folded brim. And then the rest of this fluffiness here is my Surrey alpaca. Well, no, it's not Surrey alpaca. It's lace weight alpaca. My lace weight alpaca. And this is the colorway. I think it's, hold for a moment. Let me see. Got it behind me here. Stardust. Pretty sure it's Stardust. So it's the Stardust colorway. And I have that in those floofy areas. Super warm, super cozy, and that's helped double because like it's not exactly lace weight, but kind of. And it's just the most comfortable little sweater. It's a little more cropped than I usually like to wear my sweaters, but it's super cozy. Incredibly grateful for it on a day like today. It is so cold outside. When I let the sheep out this morning, I looked like the kid from Christmas Story again, like bundled up. I could barely move. I was so bundled. It was ridiculous. Carrying the hay was an interesting experience because I could barely like move. So it's like I'm trying to carry the hay and I'm trying to open the gate. It was a whole thing. I know nobody was watching because it was so freaking cold out at that hour, and nobody, unless they had to be outside, was out there. And if you were outside, you'd be focused on what you needed to get done. Yeah. Wicked cold. Like we were negative, I think negative 17 was like the feeling temperature, like the way it feels. It's the wind chill. There we go. It's stupid cold out right now. So anyway, it's all good. I know it's always colder somewhere else or warmer. And for the most part, like I said, that's not our normal, but this coming week's going to be pretty darn cold. So, yeah. I really hope that everybody stays warm. I hope their critters are in good shape and everything's okay. Anyway, getting back into the works in progress. So what have I been working on? I cast on my jaunty. Guys, I cast on my jaunty. So I did finish spinning for my jaunty. This is another one by Andrea Mowry. It is a spin along that I'm participating in. So that's a little photo of her jaunty shawl on her. It's super fluffy, I am so excited. I am very much looking forward to having this as a shawl. I have to be careful because I have and will do it again. We'll pull this needle clean out of this knitting. Yikes, there we go. Okay. So I'm working with my Advent, so my Multifarious Nature Advent for 2025. Working with that as my multiple colors. So these are my 3 last colors. It looks kind of chaotic at the moment, but I need to get those caked up. But here is my first one, which is Icelandic. Beautiful cream color. And the first color that I'm knitting with is a 2-ply that the colorway is a hint of the holidays by Layer of the Llama. I don't know how well you can really see that. It's fading to different colors there, but it's so tight. Starting with a beautiful blue, deep blue, and that is the first section. Here we go. So there's the right side. So it is cruising. It is cruising, you guys. I have been working on this for the past couple days, and this is the primary project I've been working on this week. And it's just incredibly relaxing. I really enjoy Half Fisherman's Rib. So I started with that colorway, which is the Layer of the Llama colorway. And then we moved to the first colorway of my Advent, which is the Icelandic color, which is super pretty. I am using, so this is kind of a choose your own adventure shawl. I'm using a size 5 needle, which is what's called for like a DK weight, a sport or DK weight fingering. This fingering weight definitely tends to lean towards, or this weight of my hand spun tends to definitely lean more towards a light fingering for the most part. Touches of lace, and then there's some areas that are definitely more towards like I'd say DK. So it's kind of an in-between, and so I just went with the DK. I like the way that this fabric is. It's fluffy and open, but it's not so airy that it won't be warm, if that makes sense. This base is a yak. I think it's yak. Oh, I didn't bring my tag in here. Excuse me. Oh, rats. Hold on a second. It is, yeah, merino, yak, and silk. I had to look at another one that I have in Layer of the Llama because I know it's the same base. Super, super soft and beautiful. So that is the first, this is the second, and then I'll go back to my Layer of the Llama once I finish up the skein. So it's going to be like stripes, but some stripes are going to be really wide. Like the ones at the narrow points of the shawl are going to be very chunky stripes, whereas it gets closer, it'll get more narrow. It won't be like super narrow stripes because I do have about 25 grams of each little mini, but it's just, I'm really excited. I'm really enjoying it. It gives you a fun little adventure using each breed and then really focusing on it during that time you're working with it. And then you can work onto another one. And it makes a really nice big shawl. So it actually worked out really nice. This, when I was plying, I had to split the breaks. I filled up the bobbin and then I wound up the second half. And I was so glad that this is just a little bit less than half, so it's about 100 grams, and this is about 45 grams of wool. So that's perfect because the pattern, she calls for a little under half, and at that point you just start decreasing. That way you don't run out of your yarn, because it's hand spun, you don't really want to run out of it, because then you'd be up creek without a paddle. So anyway, yeah, really enjoying that. That is a super fun project, relaxing, and very enjoyable. So working on that, and then the other one I've been working on just a little. So I've really worked on that one a lot. But the other one I worked on just a bit is my shawl by West Knits, Stephen West of West Knits, and it is the Mystery MCal, or Mystery Musical. Mystery Musical is the name of it, and I'm still working on that third section. Like I said, I haven't worked on this that much this week. I think I might have done maybe 1 or 2 sections. That's about it. So not much at all, but it's a very enjoyable knit. I really enjoy this modular section that I'm working on. I think this is a lot of fun. I think out of all the sections, this might be the one I've enjoyed the most. I wouldn't necessarily say it's the easiest, but I have kind of enjoyed it the most. So what I'm doing is there's areas where he recommends adding your alpaca in to make like pops of alpaca or mohair dare is what he calls it. I'm using alpaca, not mohair. But what I'm doing is like every 2 blocks of my Hunter's Moon colorway, I'm using it held with the alpaca to add like a little extra oomph to it. So it just adds some cool texture. I headed it down here as well, and it's just going to be like kind of throughout that section there will be pops of the fuzz. I just think it's going to be kind of fun, you know, add some dimension and interest. Definitely enjoying this. It's a pattern that takes focus, and I've mentioned that before, but you definitely need to focus on it. So not a good pattern for like your knit group. Probably not the best pattern for that, but definitely enjoyable otherwise. I really enjoyed it. All right, trying to think if there's anything else with the works in progress. Oh yes, there is. The hat I was talking about. So I wanted to make my hat for myself, and then my husband was working outside, and because like I said, we've gotten a stupid amount of snow. It just keeps coming. And so we have a plow guy who comes, thank goodness, because we have quite the amount of area to have to remove snow from. And he does a quick job of it. And there's areas that we need to still get. So we use our tractor to do that. And it is a open top tractor. So where the chair is, you're sitting out there in the snow and wind. And my husband, his poor face is just freezing. So I wanted to make this. Now I've wanted to make this for myself, and I can't remember if this is a free pattern. I think it is. It was. There was a deal, but hopefully it's still free. It's called the Hodola by Laura Nelkin. And, well, there it is. Hodola. I'll include a link to it as well. But it's really nice. And this, so obviously it looks wonderfully comfortable from that image as well. But this one is what really intrigued me about it. So I don't know if you can see that, but the collar part, so it's a hood with a collar, really long collar, and you can fold the collar up over your face underneath in the hood, which if you live in a cold climate, you get why that's nice. So my husband is not a big wool guy. Wool in his mind tends to be on the scratchier side, which I know. I do not agree. I'm going to put that out there right now. I do not agree. Wool is not scratchy. I love wool. I love all wool. Every wool has a purpose. Some wool is definitely more for carpets, and that it's great for that. So I mean, like, I'll agree that that's true. Like, there is wool for carpet, that's for sure. And so I am using a acrylic base, and I'm trying to think what the name of this is. I don't have it, but it is a acrylic. It is a bulky weight, and the Hoodla has various sizes from child, youth, to adult, medium, large, and then large, extra large. And yeah, it varies from DK worsted Aran to bulky weight yarn is what's kind of recommended. The heavier weight the yarn, the more dense the fabric. So I was like, let's go with the bulky. Let's make it really dense. It's going to be, I think, a double thickness to the hood. So I'm like, this will be so warm. He'll love it. And it'll protect his face. Okay. So I got right on that, didn't I? I sure did. And I was like, okay, I'll get my needles, and I'm using a size 7. These are not my Chagus. These are not my knit picks. I do not know. I got these as a gift, and I cannot remember what brand they are. But the designer suggested you use needles that have a very flexible cord. This does not have a flexible cord. And I just thought, well, I'll make it work anyway. I'm totally going to use a different pair of needles because these needles are basically the width they need to be, like totally the width. Like there's not a lot of leeway there, and you can't really see that probably, but it's stiff. It's very stiff. And knitting with this is like basically torture for my hands. I love wool. Wool is very springy. Wool is so enjoyable to knit with and kind on your hands. Knitting with acrylic can be a bear when I didn't realize how much my hands do not like knitting with acrylic. I do not mind acrylic. I think it's great. It's very durable. And if someone has sensitivities to wool, it's a great option. However, if it's causing you pain, that is not good. So I do need to figure out a better system here because I really want to finish this for him, and I probably would have gotten it done really quickly for the most part because, again, it's a bulky weight knit. Like this should knit up fast. But I kid you not, if I get 10 stitches done without my hands hurting, that's reaching. And that's not good. Like I can't even finish a row. Each row is like 100-something stitches. So safe to say, I'm definitely going to use a different pair of needles. I'm probably going to see if my Knit Picks square needles, my 4 square needles will work because I think that one will definitely kinder on my hands, especially working with acrylic. It's very soft. It's a really nice little acrylic blend here, or it's acrylic, but the acrylic mix that they made is quite nice. And the colors are colors he likes. So this is what it looks like. Very soft, nice fuzziness to it. I have like 2 skeins of it. I had it in stash, and so I was like, well, we'll work with that. But we're going to need different needles because my poor hands are not happy, and that will not work. I need to be kind to my hands. So I use these a lot. Between dyeing, wool processing, knitting, I knit a lot. But so there you have it. The adventures of knitting. Oh my goodness, you guys. I'm looking outside and it looks like a blizzard. They're teeny tiny little snowflakes, like itty bitty, but there's a lot of them. And when you look out in the distance, the trees are like a blur. It's intense. I love living in Michigan though. So we'll talk about life update AS now. Like I said, with the critters, their heated bowl. I have a heated bowl for their water. And it just slightly got unplugged the other day, and I didn't know that. They must have gotten the little hoof caught on the cord a little. And it just separated the plug just enough that it cut the power to it. And when I got home from work, there was water that was in there when I left. And when I came home from work, there was a layer about, I'd say, 1/8 of an inch thick on top of the water. And that was not good. So pretty early on, it must have gotten unplugged. So I broke through that ice. These poor sheep, their faces were covered in snow. So they've probably been eating the snow, trying to get water, a source of water. Thank God there's snow for them to do that. But yeah, they need to drink water. That's very important. So I was like, oh boy. So I got that out, plugged it back in, and it did not freeze again after that. So thank goodness. The bowl still worked. It's just their little hoof got caught, which is like, good grief. But these are the little adventures in critters ownership. You have to monitor them because this kind of stuff happens, and they really need water, and they really need their hay to stay warm and hydrated. And it's amazing. I don't know if you are familiar with sheep, but if you aren't, it's really fascinating how much when they eat their hay and then they ruminate on it. So like they kind of regurge and chew it up to help digest it. It's pretty fascinating how much warmer they get when they're doing that. So when they're chewing on their cud and everything, and they're going through that process of ruminating, it's really interesting because it warms them. It's fabulous. Like if you put your hand in their wool, ooh, they're cozy. They're so cozy, and they're really good when the weather gets really nasty like this. They stay in their hut. They'll come out. They don't hang out outside that much. They really are wise about trying to stay warm, and yeah, they're doing great. I'm really happy. I'm constantly checking on them, constantly praying over them, because I want to make sure that they're okay. But they're pretty resilient little stinkers, these Shetlands. I do enjoy them and their characters. And when they get their little bee in their bonnet, they just randomly will do their little pecking order, and one decides they want to try to take on others. So that's pretty entertaining to watch. The ewes will actually be trying to establish their pecking order, which they headbutt each other. That was, excuse me, that was a new thing for me. I mean, I'd heard about it, but the first time that they started doing that, I was like, is this normal? Because in my head, oops, my little alarm went off here. In my head, I always just assumed that rams were the ones to do that, not the ewes, but no, the ewes do that as well. So that is interesting. Yeah, the chickens have barely left their hut. It's, like I said, it's really cold out, so they kind of stay in their hut. Their hut has like a little run area, and then there's like perch areas for perching up above. So they've been pretty much sticking to that. And the dogs go out and come back in after they do their business. They do not want to hang out outside. It's been really, really cold. Our fireplace is on overtime right now. We have our wood burning fireplace, like log burning fireplace going like 24/7. And then we have a pellet stove that I today actually broke down and turned that on as well. That's in our lower level. And so we have both going to try to heat up the house. And we are now holding steady at 63 degrees, which some might be like, 63? But that actually feels comfortable. I mean, again, I'm wearing a sweater, so I'm comfortable. But yeah, not the usual tropical weather. There are days in the winter that we might be in t-shirts up here, because when we get that fireplace going, it can get into the 70s up here, like really warm. And it's just very efficient, and I'm incredibly grateful for it. It's been like night and day when it comes to trying to heat our house. So I'm really, really grateful for it. And yeah, cruising through it, you guys. Cruising through this winter. Whew, but it's hitting us hard right now. Winter is being it's a little stinker that it is, but I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you're staying warm. Oh my goodness. There's a lot of us getting hit hard right now with this nasty cold weather, and in a sense, some of us are more prepared for it than others, right? Like we have really warm blankets. I know I'm not speaking for myself only. Most people in this area have probably different wardrobes. I literally have like an extra, like a wardrobe for the winter time that I wear. And then, you have your summer and everything. So like I have the layers, and I'm prepared, and I have the wool goodness, and I'm prepared. But for those that don't, that's the hard part, when they're not prepared for this kind of weather, if it's totally out of left field, so hopefully everybody's doing okay and hunkering down. It's always hard when you're like, yeah, we've been hunkered down for a week. all the introverts are like super excited. But that being said, I still have to go to the store. But with the weather being the way it is, we have massive snow drifting right now. So we had past couple days, oh my gosh, it was bad. We're out, like I said, we're out in the country. So we had snow drifting in our main roads. These are the roads that lots of people take. Like they're used pretty regularly. They are country roads versus city roads. So, but they're pretty regularly used, and because of the drifting, there were like 2 feet or more deep drifts in the middle of the road. And my husband actually helped someone because they literally were stuck in the middle of the road. Like they were driving and then got stuck because in front of them looked like just snow, but it's not just snow, it was feet of snow, and their poor little car couldn't get through. So he actually pulled them through it, and they kind of followed him until they could get to like a main big road that would be more heavily used. And the road that he got stuck on is a heavily used road. I mean, I use it to get to work, and I'm grateful my husband let me know that, because my car probably would have gotten stuck. I have an all-wheel drive vehicle, which can get through a lot. But when you get snow up to a certain level over the front of your vehicle, there's not much you can do. And so I'm incredibly grateful that I was able to work from home during that time. Otherwise, I would have had to take a snow day. Like I literally, there are points I've learned this. There are points where you're like, okay, I am not going to venture out. And you just have to make that adult decision and go, you know what? It's not safe to go out in this. Let's not. And I'm just going to take a snow day. But I am fortunate that I can do that. Like I have paid for time that I can take that. So if someone doesn't, I feel for them. But that's where I say they're the ones that are on the road, and I'm the nut that's not in their way. Because I just feel like there are people that do need to, I know I've talked about this before. I feel like this is a rant I always have, but there are people like first responders, there are medical professionals. There are so many people. Your plumbers, your heating and cooling. Like these are people that need to be on the road to help folks. Like really help people to survive, frankly. And for me to like answer phones or what have you, you don't need me to do that. I can do that from home and not be on the road. Save a spot for those folks. All right. Well, I think that's it, you guys. I think that's it. I've gone really long, so hopefully everything's good. I see it's still recording, so hopefully we're good. And I hope you guys can see me everything okay. If you didn't, do let me know. I'm trying really hard to try to get it in the center here. It is just always interesting when you record on a camera like this, like I said, you are a good 5 feet away from me, and I have a screen this big that I can kind of glance at to see if maybe I'm semi in focus. And I don't even care if I'm in focus half the time. I just want to make sure you guys can see the wool and things like that. But yeah, I hope you're doing well. And if you made it this far and you enjoyed this content, do make sure that you like and subscribe. I do many videos about wool goodies, lots of times hand spinning, hand dyed yarn, just all kinds of fun stuff like that. So if that's something that interests you, definitely make sure that you do that. And yeah, let me know what you guys are working on in the comments below. I love hearing from you, and I look forward to catching up with you soon. Have a great rest of your week and stay cozy. Bye.